Happy Sunday, everyone. It's obviously not a Sunday when I'm filming this, but it will be a Sunday when you're watching this, or at least when it's released. Fingers crossed. The aim of today's video is mid-year book tag. You've seen it, you've seen all the other girls do it. It's my turn. Unfortunately, we are like a week or two late. It's still middle of the year. It's currently only the 4th of July. When this goes out, on the other hand, it will be the 7th. We're going to do the mid-year book tag today. We are going to go through likes, dislikes, opinions, most anticipated reads, my 5 stars, my least favourite read, etc. I have a whole list of questions here. I've seen so many people do this. I will put channels up. I've seen Katie do this, I've seen Sarah do this, I've seen Rachel do this, I've seen Ella do this, I've seen Mel Reeds do this, and of course we've seen the girl Destiny do this. I will put all of the questions I've used today in the description below. We can either discuss them in the comments, you can make your own video about them, it's completely up to you. Let's start. So, the first question I have here is best books you've read in 2024. Now, I think one of my highest rated books this year so far was Ruin and Rising. And I'm not gonna lie to you, now that I pick it up, I have absolutely no idea what happens. So maybe we need to rethink the... One of my favourite books this year so far has been City of Bones by the glorious author that is Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series, and the reason I like this so much was because I had been waiting years to read this, having seen the film when I was younger, and it absolutely blew my mind. Another book that was definitely one of the best books I read this year was Six of Crows. Now, I enjoyed the Shadow and Bone series, but the Six of Crows is where it's at. If you haven't read Six of Crows, go read it, honestly. Best decision you'll ever do. You don't have to read the Shadow and Bone series. It really doesn't link all that much, but it is in the same universe, so it does give you context for a lot of powers, a lot of abilities, just a lot of the politics that goes on. This was also in one of my recent reading vlogs, which I will link up here if you would like to go see that. Okay, question number 2. How many books have I read this year? So far this year, I have read 41 books. Now, that changed yesterday because I finished reading Light Luck. 41 out of 80 books this year. Question 3. The best sequel I've read so far this year. This is an easy decision for me. It is absolutely City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments series. The way that everything that would happen in the 1st and 2nd books just absolutely came to a head in this and all triumphed. Secrets were revealed and secrets were squashed, and that's all I'll say. I couldn't stop reading this. It absolutely was incredible. It really did. After years of only ever watching the film and thinking that was it for the story, I clung to it like a lifeline. Next question, 4th question, is a new release I want to read but haven't yet. This is an easy decision for me. New release, haven't read yet but want to, is Not in Love by the one and only Ali Hazelwood. I am a massive Ali Hazelwood fan, I have to admit. I haven't read the Love to Loathe You, or you know, the little mini-series, and I haven't read Bride because romance authors writing fantasy sounds a lot like Twilight, just isn't my thing. Anyway, Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, and Love Hypothesis, adored. Flew through them. The only thing I'll say is I know that this one has been marked as more of an erotic fantasy. I'm just a bit upset because everyone's talking about these overlays that they're getting in the States in the books, and Tesco's just did us dirty with this one. But hey ho, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, my new release I haven't read yet that I want to read. 5th question is most anticipated reads for the second half of the year. My most anticipated read for the second half of the year is Daydream by Hannah Grace, and it is the 3rd book in the Maple Hills series alongside Icebreaker and Wildfire. Now, Daydream follows Henry Turner, who has actually been followed in both of these books, and it's his story in the dating world. What gets me about that book, the reason I'm more excited for that one than I ever was for Icebreaker or for Wildfire, is because Henry has been followed through Icebreaker, through Wildfire, so we have seen so much of his character already, so I'm just really intrigued at what's going to happen in Daydream. But it looks great. The cover is stunning. The purples. Oh. Second one is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Now, I know this is already released, but I have not read an Emily Henry book yet, and I have read the synopsis and it sounds incredible. A bit of fake dating. Love it. Next up is When the Moon Hatched, which I actually have. I waited for this to come out, I bought it, and I still haven't read yet. So this is definitely one I will be getting to in the second half of the year. Next up is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Now that literally came out today, I think, or yesterday, 3rd or 4th of July, I can't remember. Either way, I have not read Powerless yet. Don't kill me, okay? I want to. It was on my June TBR, I never got to it. I'm hoping maybe I can get to it this month, but Reckless sounds incredible. Although I have not read it, I trust the book community and how hyped this book is, so I really am so excited to be able to read this in the second half of the year. And lastly is The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. Now I have only read one Catherine Center book, and it was a closed-door romance called The Bodyguard. I adored it. Don't get me wrong, I love a bit of spice, I love a bit of open door romance. This book really did it for me. I really enjoyed it. Just the love, the romance, the friendships, the character development, and the twist at the end. I mean, it had me gripped. The Rom-Commers sounds great. Let's get to that in the second half of the year too. 6th question is my biggest surprise read of the year. Now this for me is quite an easy one. I don't know whether I'm taking this question the wrong way, but a book that really surprised me this year was All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now this is the 3rd book in the Natural series. And if you've read it, you'll know exactly what I mean. I got all the way to like 60 pages to the end, and then boom. I can't tell you because it is a massive reveal, but All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes threw me, and it means that I absolutely cannot wait to read Bad Blood because I need to know what I have to know. 7th question is favourite author, debut or new to you? I have 2 for this. So my first is Sarah Adams and my second is B.K. Borison. Now these were definitely new to me this year. I'd heard of them but I'd never really read anything from them, and then I read the 2nd and 3rd books in the Love Light Farm series and adored them. Cannot get enough of the community, the group, all of the characters that are in there. In terms of Sarah Adams, I read Practice Makes Perfect and When in Rome. Obviously the other way around. I read When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect, and again, small town, cozy romance, short, adored it. Really was spectacular, and those are the kind of romances I love. Question 8 is, do I have a new fictional crush? Now I wouldn't call it a fictional crush, but I do understand the crushes on these characters specifically, and they are from the Clockwork Angel book, the first in the Infernal Devices from Cassandra Clare, and that is Will Herondale and Jem. I can understand the crush on Will Herondale. I don't have one on him. I don't really get massive crushes on fictional characters, but Will Herondale I can see, he's a star character here. 9th question is a book that made me cry. I put a question mark next to this. I've been a bit of a heartless person this year. I don't think I've cried at a book yet. To be fair though, that is on me because I avoid reading books I think are going to make me cry. No, okay, there might have been a moment that I cried in Crooked Kingdom. If you know, you know. Okay, we're going to stick with Crooked Kingdom. I think I cried at Crooked Kingdom. If I didn't cry at a book this year, and I'm sorry about it. And I don't like crying at books. Can't do it. I can't do it. The 10th question is book that made you happy. Now I've got a couple in this one. I don't know if you guys ever heard the Improbable Meet Cute series. They were a deal on Kindle Unlimited, even on Prime actually. They are by a bunch of different authors, and I'll insert a picture of them. I read the first 4 and they made me really happy. They were really quite sweet. One of them I didn't like at all. First 2 and then the 4th I loved. I thought they were great. They just really brought my spirits up a little bit, especially with reading. They were quick, they were fast. It was like a novella of a novella, if that makes sense. Next question is most beautiful book I bought or received. So we will go back to When the Moon Hatched because this is stunning, and you will see. If you've already seen my post on Instagram about this book, you'll know why I love it. Look at this. Can we just appreciate the chapter headings? It is absolutely stunning. The font, everything. There is nothing about this book I don't love. Fighting for first place for the most beautiful book I have bought or received this year are these editions of Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows that I got from Amazon, and I love them. I really do. I mean, look at them. Even without dust covers on, we have pink inside for Divine Rivals with gold lettering, and then we have a lovely burgundy red for Ruthless Vows. I just think that is stunning, and then lovely cream inside, and I really think that matches the tone of each of the books. Next question is what books do I need to read before the end of the year? Now this is an odd one because I don't need to read any books before the end of the year. Like, I read because I enjoy it. If you're going to take this question as seriously, then I need to finish my baby, the Shatter Me series. I have read these 4 so far. We have Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Unite Me and Ignite Me. Next up I have Restore Me. It's getting to the point where I'm buying the books one by one because it's really enjoyable to go through and buy them as I finish them. There will be a Shatter Me reading vlog coming up at some point this year whenever I finish them. The other one is the Cassandra Clare universe. I need to read the whole thing because next year I have big plans for ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. I want to, I have them, I need to read them. But I started a 15-book series and I need to finish a 15-book series, so wish me luck. Lastly but not least is the Thursday Murder Club series. The Last Devil to Die, this is the last one in the Thursday Murder Club series and this is the one that I want to read. I'm not gonna lie, I want to read it because I want to finish the series, but I also want to read it because once I finish this, I can display my really pretty hardcover. I have 3 of the 4 in hardback, so I kind of just want to finish these so I can actually just display them really nicely. Next question is, how many books did I rate 5 stars this year? Now I'm a little bit upset because we are into the 7th month by 4 days and I have 0 5 stars. I've not rated a single book 5 stars. Now I thought Light Lark would be 5 stars. The only reason I didn't rate that 5 stars was because the story, the plotline felt a little bit wishy-washy. It felt like we were delving into different storylines, different main plot lines, and it was only at the end we realised what the main plotline was and that the others didn't actually matter that much. I did rate it 4.25 though. I think I might rate it 4.5. I am currently reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I don't read with my dust covers on and I have started it this morning. Who knows? I'm in a real big thriller mood at the moment. Next up is, which books do you want to reread this year? Now this is a no-brainer for me. I need to read this again. I absolutely love this. The mental place this put me was incredible and my imagination just flew and I loved it. I remember buying this and I was over the moon. Now I can't wait to reread it. Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Next up is one that I have already raved about and that is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It was such a quick read. I think I read this in one sitting one evening. It was so good. So if I have to read this, I have to read the whole series. Now this is an odd one for me because at the start I didn't really get on with it, but now I think back to it, Kingdom of the Wicked and the rest of them, Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the... can't remember the last one. I'll insert it here if I remember, but the Kingdom of the Wicked series, phenomenal. Prince of Wrath was my fictional crush last year. That's all I have to say. And lastly, we all know why I want to reread this, not just because it's a great book, but it's coming out again this year as a series. Now I'm not gonna lie, I know for a fact that the book's gonna be 10 times better than the series and it's probably an unpopular opinion. I am not a massive fan of who they cast as Pip because the English accent is not it. It's not it. So I would love to read the Good Girls Guide to Murder series again this year just because it was phenomenal. Convince me otherwise, it was phenomenal. Penultimate question, a book that I enjoyed with mixed reviews. This is easy for me. Assistant to the Villain. I have been counting down the days until the second one comes out because honestly, if I'm brutally honest, I loved it. It was cozy, it was funny, it was brutal, but it was good. Like the writing in this was insane and I did really enjoy like this silly cheesy little romance between the villain and his assistant. That's what I have to say. The character development of the villain was good too, but I'd have to say fancy words when I review books. I just loved it. Need I say more? Last question, 5-star predictions. Let's have a look at our physical TBR shelf and see if there's any physical predictions to go off. Now, easy. Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Definite 5 stars. I have a feeling Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is also going to be 5 stars for me. This is going to complete round off the series for me. Now it is Bad Blood, but it also has 12 the novella in it, so that's going to be really interesting. I believe that Butcher and Blackbird is going to be a 5 stars. I believe This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune will be 5 stars. And last but not least, I believe Fourth Ring by Rebecca Yarros and A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas will also be 5 stars. Okay, so now we've done the mid-year book tag, we are going to have a look at my July TBR. Now, this is the preliminary July TBR in my reading journal. We have Reappearance of Rachel Price. It's obviously July, I'm obviously already reading it. There's that one. I have a feeling this is probably not going to be as good as my expectations are allowing, only because I had really high expectations for Good Girls Guide to Murder, and obviously same author. I absolutely adored 5 Survive, loved that. I have a feeling that this one's going to be a little bit lackluster, but at the same time, I love Holly Jackson, I love her her writing. I don't think I'll have anything to complain about. Next up is Bad Blood. This is most definitely on my TBR. I am doing a video this month finishing series I have started. What better way to involve Bad Blood? Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. My next one is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, and this is the second book in the Infernal Devices series. I am trying to read at least a book a month of these because I am becoming quite a slow reader at the moment, so I'm doing my best. Okay, next up, I don't have a physical copy, so I'll insert a picture here, is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. I have never read an Elsie Silver book before, but it was 99p on Kindle, or it was on Prime, I can't remember. I thought, why not? What better way to start reading Elsie Silver than with her first book? I'm sure you guys have heard this, but Elsie Silver recently released these Off to the Races books series, and that's the first book she's ever written. Now I think it would be really interesting for me to read my first Elsie Silver book as her first book, and then progress and read the rest, and I can see how the writing progresses. That's my thought process on this. I have one more book to choose for my TBR, and I might leave it open. I'm a massive mood reader, and if I don't fancy a book, I don't fancy a book. But considering we are doing finishing series I've started, there's a potential for me to read Restore Me. I don't think I'm going to be able to think about a rating for this one, because to me it's just part of a series. I haven't even read the blurb of this one yet. Now there is quite the possibility that I'm going to force myself to read Powerless, because I know I'm going to enjoy it. I just never pick it up, and that's a real shame. I remember buying this in the works literally months before it kicked off on TikTok, and it just kept staring at me. And then it kicked off massive on TikTok, and that was literally over a year ago, and I've not read it yet, and I'm quite embarrassed by it. But anyway, hey ho. Thank you guys so much for watching my mid-year book tag and my July TBR. I know by the time you watch this it'll be the 7th, we're 7 days in, but at least you can see what I plan on reading this month. I massively appreciate if there's any of the books that I have read or I have included in this tag that you want to know more about, comment away. If there's any books that I have spoken about that you have opinions about, let's discuss in the comments below. Thank you so much for your support. I'm now on something stupid like 43 subscribers. Now that's not a lot for a lot of you, but for me, who's only been doing this for like a month, I couldn't be more grateful, so I really appreciate that. If I can get 47 of you to even like this video or comment a hi, I'd love it. Stay tuned for next week's video, next Sunday. I am on holiday, but I will still be uploading. We'll see what I post. Like, subscribe, comment. I will pop these questions I have answered in the description below, and maybe you guys and myself can have a discussion about them, about your books, about your answers. Let me know. A massive thank you to everyone who watches these videos, everybody who turns up on a Sunday and gets involved. Subscribe, like, comment, go follow my Instagram, go have a look at my Goodreads, have a look at the shorts I've been posting. If you have any ideas, please send them my way. I shall see you next Sunday. I need a pin. Oh, it's because just these. I've just spilled my juice.